The post-fuel era is almost here. But are our energy systems truly ready to withstand the coming chaos?
Let's imagine a world for a second where the gas pumps are totally empty and the power grid is, well, not something you can count on. In this explainer, we're not just going to stare into that abyss. We're going to build a real, practical plan to get through it. And the key, you'll see, isn't panic, it's strategy.
And this quote, man, it just nails it. An energy crisis isn't just an inconvenience, right? It's when the normal background noise of life just fades away. And that silence, that's what's really unsettling.
So what does a fuel shortage really look like? I'll tell you, it is so much more than just paying a crazy price at the pump. It's that moment when fuel itself becomes a rarity, and that kicks off a chain reaction that hits every single part of our lives.
And here's where you see that chain reaction, that cascade effect, really kick in. Look, fuel doesn't just move our cars, it moves everything. The second the trucks stop rolling, the supply chains that stock our grocery stores, our pharmacies, they just seize up. So it starts as a fuel problem, very quickly becomes a food problem and a medicine problem, and yeah, eventually a power problem. It's all connected. So when you're staring down that kind of cascade, it is so easy to panic. Of course it is. But the key to getting through this isn't some secret gadget you can buy. It's a fundamental shift in how you think about the problem. It's all about moving from that gut reaction of panic to a place of cool, calm, strategic preparation.
And this is the first question almost everybody asks. And it makes sense, right? We've got this gasoline-shaped hole in our lives, so we figure we just need to find something else to pour into it. But believe it or not, this question actually sends us down completely the wrong path.
Because here's the thing, trying to find a one-for-one replacement for a global energy source in the middle of a crisis, that's a losing game. It keeps you focused on the old system that's already breaking, instead of building a new, more resilient one just for yourself.
So this is the crucial shift we need to make. We have to reframe the entire problem. Don't ask, how do I replace the fuel? Instead ask, what do I actually need the energy to do for me? And when you break it down like that, our core needs are actually pretty simple. We need light to see, we need communication to stay informed, we need a way to keep our food safe, and we need to manage the temperature, right? Hot or cold. Suddenly, the problem feels a whole lot smaller and way more manageable.
Now, I love this slide because it makes a really important distinction. Hoarding, that's a panic response. That's just grabbing everything you can off the shelf because you're scared. Stockpiling, though, that's completely different. It's a deliberate strategy. It's about calmly and thoughtfully building a buffer that creates stability for you and your family without making the bigger problem worse for everyone else.
All right, let's apply this new resilience mindset to our first big challenge, the fuel problem. No gas means our car basically becomes a very expensive lawn ornament. And for most of us, that's a massive deal that we absolutely need a plan for.
Okay, so if you're going to stockpile some fuel, you have to do it the right way. This is not about just pouring some gas into any old can. It's a system. You need to use the right, approved containers. You need to store them legally and safely away from your house. And here's the most important part. You have to rotate that fuel. Every few months, pour the oldest can into your car's tank, use it up, and then refill that can with fresh gas. Why? Because old, degraded fuel is a future engine failure waiting to happen. It will damage your engine right when you need it most.
And hey, a quick word of warning on some of the stuff you see online, like making your own biodiesel. Look, while it sounds really cool and self-sufficient, making fuel is complex chemistry. Getting it wrong doesn't just mean your generator won't start, it means you could permanently wreck the engine. Resilience is all about boring reliability. And trust me, in a crisis, boring and reliable is going to feel a whole lot better than exciting and broken.
Okay, next up, electricity. When that fuel supply gets shaky, the power grid becomes incredibly fragile. It's this massive, tangled system with a million points of failure, and in a real crisis, you just can't count on it anymore.
This quote just perfectly captures it. The grid's behavior becomes completely unpredictable. You start getting brownouts, rolling blackouts, maybe even sudden power surges. It's chaotic, and then it can go completely, terrifyingly, silent. You need your own power. So here's a pretty simple way to think about your own energy independence. At the top, you've got solar panels. That's the gold standard, right? A long-term solution. In the middle, you have a portable power station. Think of it as a big, smart battery pack. It's a fantastic, super versatile option you can charge up now or hook up to a small solar panel later. And at the very bottom, your absolute last resort that will never ever fail you, a hand crank generator. Yeah, it's a workout, but it always works. All right, now this is a problem that people often totally forget about. When the power goes out and the cell networks get overloaded, we get plunged into an information blackout. And not knowing what's going on, well, that can be almost as dangerous as the crisis itself.
Just think about it for a second. That supercomputer in your pocket that you rely on for absolutely everything. Without a cell signal, without Wi-Fi, it's not just offline. It is now an expensive paperweight. It's completely useless for getting news or emergency alerts.
And that's the exact moment that this humble little device becomes the single most important piece of technology you own. It doesn't need the internet, it doesn't need a cell tower, and with a hand crank, it doesn't even need batteries. It just works. An emergency radio is your lifeline, period. It connects you to official broadcasts and news when every other line of communication is dead. And for those of you who want to go to the next level, getting a basic amateur radio license, a ham radio license, that opens up a whole other world. It's a powerful, independent communication network that lets you not just listen, but also talk. Incredibly valuable. So after all this, the fuel, the power, the radios, what is the real advantage that preparing gives you? It's not about having the coolest gear or the biggest pile of supplies. It's something way more fundamental.
Let's be super clear. The people who get through a crisis well, they aren't just lucky. It's not some random chance or about being in the right place at the right time.
And you know what? It's not even about being rich. Sure, money helps, no doubt, but some of the most critical preparations, like having a simple radio or a plan, cost very, very little.
The real difference maker, it's the boring work you do ahead of time. It's the unsexy, unglamorous process of just thinking through the problems and taking those small, consistent steps to solve them before they blow up into emergencies.
And this right here, this is the whole point. This is what all that preparation actually buys you. Options. When a crisis hits, the people who didn't prepare are trapped. They have to react to whatever is happening to them. But the people who prepared, even just a little, they have the freedom to make choices. They have agency when everyone else has lost it.
So the final question really is for you. Look, it's not a matter of if these kinds of disruptions will happen, but when. And the boring work that you do today, that directly determines the options you have tomorrow. So, when those lights start to flicker, who will you have chosen to be?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And check out the next video on your screen, you'll definitely enjoy that one.